Welcome to the preacher's porch. I How does this work? Oh, my camera's backwards. Oh well. Well, I don't think we can fix it. I went for a pedal bike ride, so I don't think it's fixable. I gotta get my chair right here. Where'd the folks, sometimes you catch yourself. I'm sitting on the back cushion. I couldn't figure out why there was no back cushion. I'm sitting on it. Oh, much better. Okay. Wow. Really, really bright looking out to the sky there. I don't know if I can fix that. That don't make it much better. And it's a beautiful night, and I don't know why it's that bright over there. There's not that much light, but it's doing that to us. I guess if I went like that, yeah, I guess that'll work. All right. Fix the chair, Joe. Well, folks, one of these days we'll have a better camera, but for now, we're working off my laptop. Now, I hope the picture's a little better because my tech man at church he adjusted this. Thank you, Mr. Nolf. Palm Sunday, and we had a beautiful day here in Michigan. It got up to uh, about 60 degrees, real close to 60 degrees, 58, something like that. Fahrenheit for you Europeans. No, we're not. Halfway to boiling. We're not that. Um, but it was a beautiful day, and I took a pedal bike ride, get some exercise here, wear off some winter fat. Um, actually, wear off just the amount of food that we wind up having every Sunday at the church. Them people, they feed, man. They bring food. You come to Radical Impact Ministries at Father's house. There's food. About one Sunday out of 20, 15. Yeah, that's like once in 4 months will something happen that there's not good eats because they bring them. I like it that way, I like it that way. I think people listen just as well with a full belly. I think they fellowship. I think they smile more. I like it when people smile. So, anyways, Palm Sunday, because I don't want this to run too long. You've already probably heard some heavy messages about it, and I don't know. This might be a little bit fun. I titled this. Uh, I titled this live stream "Pick a Crowd" because from in over here in Matthew, there's two crowds. Um, we got the crowd at the opening of the chapter, um, and there it's pretty good. So verses 6, Matthew 21, 6 through 9, we have this crowd that comes out. Jesus comes riding into town on a donkey, and uh, oh wow, I got a dog in the background. I don't know how this is going to go. They may completely destroy this. They might completely destroy this video. It could be. Um, Mecosta, Michigan, 400 people and 627 pit bull mixes. Well, what are they mixed with? Oh, Labradors, poodles, anything that was passing through the night, coyotes. Saw one with a duck bill. I said, "Oh, we got the platypus thing going on." No, it's not quite that bad. um, Anyways, so we got the first crowd. They're fun. The the first crowd comes out to meet Jesus, and oh my, are they up? They're just wonderful. And they're, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and Hosanna, and blessed is the kingdom of our father David, and all of this stuff. And it's nice, it's good. And it's a celebration, and they're having a good time. And they follow him all the way down the hill and into Jerusalem. And boy, oh boy, it's something. And such a good time. And then they get down into town, and there's a crowd at the temple, and they're an interesting bunch. The two crowds clash. Now, according to Matthew, Mark doesn't say it, but Mark goes through the trip a little quicker. Matthew says that he came in and he booted them money changers and clowns out of the temple again. Stop running a stockyard here in the court of the Gentiles. People ought to be able to pray in here. Get out. So this second crowd, he wasn't making happy. He was challenging them straight up. And the clash of the two crowds is what interests me. One crowd knows now they don't know everything, but they I'm sure the cross freaked everybody out. Come on, it freaked out his closest people. Peter didn't know what was going on. So I'm sure that many in this crowd didn't understand. However, they knew something was up, and they celebrated and they praised. And it's interesting because I've heard some people say, well, the crowd turned on him, and 4 days later they were shouting, crucify him. Not the same crowd, folks. Not the same crowd. This crowd was not doing that. You read and get all four gospels together, you'll find out that crowd was a very different crowd early in the morning. Doing doing the crucify him thing and being part of what the scribes and Pharisees had going on. So I like Jesus just certified the whole thing. Depending on which gospel story you read, he comes down from the mountain, and is coming down the mountain. They're doing all of this singing, and somebody told him to shut up. Somebody told Jesus to tell these people, hey, they're not supposed to be saying this about you. And Jesus certified their praise. He said, if they don't say it, the rocks and the hills and the trees are going to start talking. They'll start saying it. Which, I don't know if you know, I just went for my bike ride down to the local lake down here and kind of rode around one end of the lake. I don't know if you know, but according to David and according to the Apostle Paul, all of nature is crying out and singing praises to God. So anyways, Jesus certifies their praise. We had a good time at church today. Sang some good songs, and Darren picked some great video music. We do two different things. We play some of the modern singers and videos that people can find anywhere, so that all throughout the week they can find that music. Then we also do a live band, and I play some other stuff. And we do the live band when we broadcast for the simple purpose of not violating Facebook or YouTube rules, you know. So we do the video music before we go live. Well, anyways, it was great, and they were singing, and it was good, and I liked it. And then it was good praise, and we did a cool thing because we we the band did I Speak Jesus. I just want to speak the name of Jesus uh, over every heart and every mind, something like that. I I kind of have to have the words in front of me. Or I don't. Um, some songs I remember, not all of them. And we had people during that song. We just had people going on. The band sang it. We just had people uh, do prayer huddles and pray on one another. It was awesome, um, and so enjoyable, you know. So, anyways, um, Jesus certified this praise. They get down to the temple, and that's the one I want to read because I want to tell you, pick your crowd. This is Holy Week. You're going to hear a lot of sermons and a lot of talk, and there'll be devotionals all over the place. Mine's just one of them. Stand by. I'm going to fix some dogs. Those dogs you hear are mine. I got to go stop dogs. Don't go away. Hey, you shut up now. Throw me down. Go. Yeah. Go. Okay. My daughter came in the yard and messed it up. So you're gonna hear a lot of stuff, but I want to come down here. When he had come into the city, all the city was moved. Wow. Saying, "Who is this?" And the multitudes that were with him said, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth of Galilee." Uh, then Jesus went into the temple of God, drove out all those who bought and sold in the temple, and overturned the tables of the money changers, and said, "It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." Then the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying out in the temple and saying, "Hosanna to the Son of David," they were indignant. You know, I'm really glad that we have the church that we do, the fellowship that we do. Nobody got mad today because there was good singing. People who get mad about good singing frustrate me. I have a very good drummer. We got 3 guitars playing, a bass guitar, and then electric guitar and acoustic guitar. And um, sometimes we turn it up, and nobody was barking and whining. Pick your crowd. Here they are. Oh, they were indignant. Do you hear what these are saying? I remember when drums in the church was just a terrible thing. Can't have drums in the church. Particularly now, the crowd that my mom and dad ran with for a while, they were really opposed to this drums in the church. You know what I appreciate about my dad? A guy got saved that played the drums. He said, "Well, come play them in the church. Can you play nice and sensibly and play good with the music and the piano player?" "Oh, sure, I can play about anything." "All right, come in here and play the drums." He played the drums. Pick your crowd. Here's why. There was no, other than Jesus throwing them people out of the temple, there was no big fight. There was no crucify him. But pay attention to the crowd you're with. Because this was the intersection of the Palm Sunday crowd that believed. And the Thursday crowd that was going to haul Jesus away in the dead of the night, hold a trial in the dead of the night that was completely illegal to hold. Then, if you read, get the details from each one of the Gospels, then go and find a crowd of not so good men who would do their bidding and get them to join in front of Pilate. Listen, it wasn't all of Jerusalem that rejected Jesus. Oh, no. This stick in the mud crowd that, oh, well, they're just like, you shouldn't sing so loud. They shouldn't say those things. They identified what was in their heart. Be careful who you run with. Because it turned out just a few days later that they were the crowd willing to go and stand in front of Pilate's hall at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was and yell, crucify him. And there were two very different crowds. They did it in the dead of night because they had seen the rest of Jerusalem. The whole city was in an uproar. Who is this? All these people were praising God because of the wonderful things that they saw. Interesting, they praised God because of the wonderful things that they saw. But when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things, they got indignant. Which crowd are you running with? Which crowd are you running with? I don't want to tell anybody to leave their church, but I do think you should look around and see if you're going to Grumpy Church. That's all. Are you going to Grumpy Church? Is anybody enjoying the gospel and life in God? Pick your crowd. Because they jumped Jesus, and I'm going to end with this. And of course, we know Jesus knew what was coming, but they jumped Jesus and said, well, you got to make them not say this. Or do you hear what they're saying? And Jesus said, yep. They sing better than you. They sound better than you. They make better sense than you. Probably Jesus was too dignified to go. But he could have. It would have been fitting. So I want to say to you, how's your faith walk doing? Pick your crowd. Pick your crowd. Make sure who you're standing with. If you're standing with just grumpy and angry all the time and can't be happy and got to be hateful, my goodness, think about that, because there are many things in the world that obviously there's things that made Jesus upset. He threw people out of the temple. There's things to be upset about, but Jesus didn't stay there. He didn't live that way. That wasn't his modus. I see injustices and bad things in the world and violations of the word, and they bother me too. And I speak up. Sometimes I preach about them. But the fact is, I'm not going to live all bummed and grumpy and crabby. Pick your crowd, because the crowd you think is just making a valid point may suddenly turn out to be the crowd who's also willing to crucify. It's Holy Week. You'll hear a lot of things. But find people who praise. Find people who praise. Because it's good. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. Great song, isn't it? And at some point, I get a better camera. I'll probably get my guitar out and really sing on pitch and on key. But for sure, pick the right crowd. I love you. God bless you. Have a great Palm Sunday. That triumphal entry into Jerusalem was not near as big a deal as the triumphal entry that was coming, because what looked so catastrophic on Good Friday was something very, very martial that was going to make a triumphal entry in other places. And we would forever be more than conquerors. But that's for another video. I love y'all. God bless. Good night.